We saw all the balls behind you. Very clever.
Oh, yeah.
Those seemingly are all New England Patriot versus Jets games there. I think those game balls.
Hell yeah.
And on that.
Yeah, there. Yeah, the one behind me is, I think that was our 21st straight win. So, yeah, well, I had a few jet balls up there on the shelf, so thought this would be a good time to pull them out.
Yeah, right there above the Lombardis and the Emmy next to some other awards. Here's a game ball from Patriots versus Jets, just another historic win for us. This is old hat here. Patriots beating the hell out of the Jets. This particular game has sent their fan base into quite a tizzy. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, of course, as a Patriots fan, nothing like beating the Jets, even better with all the high hopes that they had, especially coming into this week. But what did you think about the Patriots kind of team win, responding to Gerard Mayo, calling them out for being soft against the Jaguars, and then, ending up having Jacoby Brissett lead him down with, 3.5 left to win the game with Ramondre Stevenson's second touchdown?
Yeah, it was a great drive by Jacoby and the Patriots there at the end. And obviously, Stevenson had a big game. Tough day for the Jets. Used up all their timeouts in the first quarter. Missed PAT. The scrambles. May ran for more than he threw for. Just a lot of mistakes by the Jets, and then that ended up killing him in the end with Jacoby's scrambles. And Butte made a catch down there. There were several drops in the game, but just a game that you got to look at Jacoby, and then Riddick came in the game and just ran past the quarterback multiple times, whether it was May or Jacoby, and created those scramble lanes that that the Patriots took advantage of. And big win for them. Big win for the Patriots at home against the Jets, and the Jets are now in a tough spot.
Yeah, their fan base is actively losing their minds.
Crumbling.
I mean, it is loud. Mike Greenberg did a 2-minute monologue this morning about how this is the biggest failure that the Jets have ever had.
History of sports.
History of sports, yeah, and definitely the lowest of lows for a Jets fan in the history of ball. Brother, in the history of ball. He said this is the worst because of the expectations and the hopes. If you're that team right now, what do you think is the message, or what do you think is the mindset? Because like Shefty said, they've pulled every lever. They've tried. They've pulled every single lever, and it's just not working. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other levers they could have pulled over the last, 25, 30 years that could have them in a different situation. But what do you think the message is from Ulbrich to that team?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it starts at the top, and so as you said, Woody started pulling the levers, got rid of, fired Salah, which I don't understand that. I thought that he's done a great job there with the defense and made the defensive coordinator the head coach. So I'm not really sure what that did. Changed some play calling, brought in Devontae, got Riddick back. I don't know. It seems like a lot of moves here by Woody that I'm not sure. I don't really understand how they add up. But I'd say it's more a question for him to answer than me. I think from the outside, it's maybe hard to understand why they would do some of the things they did. So I think you have to ask the guy who did them. Yeah,
Jets fans are wondering the same exact thing you are, Coach. And
all these scrambles are in the same spot. They're all up over the right guard, whether it was May or Brissett in the fourth quarter. So I don't know. Neither guy threw for very many yards. May only threw for 20 yards, but gained a lot of yards with his feet. And I think you get up against a defensive team like with Salah. Those kind of plays just didn't happen because of how disciplined they were. They just don't give you those free third down conversion on scrambles or red area scrambles that turn into touchdowns. You just didn't used to get those from him. So I don't really know what's happened. I'm not sure.
Coach, I love that you're like, Salah's the problem, huh? That's that's basically your angle. Like, okay. So
look, I thought he did a good job. When he came in there, that was the worst defense in the league. They were 32nd or maybe 33rd, 34th. I don't know. They were terrible. And in the last, ever since that first year, he's had them in the top 5 defensively. They were really hard to move the ball on, run and pass. Obviously they had some struggles offensively, but it was the same thing. They got beat on a punt return by Marcus Jones a couple of years ago on the last play of the game, and gave up another 65-yarder to him again yesterday. So I don't know how many times you want to just keep lobbing it down there to Marcus Jones. I don't. That's one of the few weapons really that's been consistent for the Patriots. But there's the ball right down the middle, and there he goes.
See ya.
I mean, this is a guy that's very, very dangerous with the ball in his hands. We used him on offense for, some jet sweeps and tear screens and things like that. And he's fast and hard to tackle. And so, it's just another example of, kicking the ball down the middle to a good returner, like the Patriots did last week against the Jaguars. This week, the Jets did it to them. To Marcus Jones, and Jones has beaten him before. It's not the first time this has happened.
You just want to lob one down there, right down the middle of the field. That's a good idea. I really do appreciate how much respect you have for Coach Saleh, and I assume he does as well. He got a job pretty quickly, Bill. I mean, he's over there with LaFleur, with the Packers, giving eyes on the offense. Obviously, the Packers are able to get wins. This is from Ryan Calabrese. All right, Paisan. Hashtag I don't want to overreact. But the New York Jets fucking stink. The defense is Swiss cheese. Greg the leg stinks. The offense is broken, and Woody still owns the team. Same shit, different year. When will the misery end? No amount of ayahuasca can cure this trauma. Aaron, welcome to the darkness, brother. Aaron said I've already been to the darkness.
You got to accept it.
It's pretty well documented that he has been to the darkness. Pretty pivotal point of his entire career, actually, that darkness retreat that he did in the hill in Oregon or something like that. He, I don't know if he's on tomorrow because they got a Thursday night game. So tomorrow is very much a work day. There's more than likely not that we do not talk to him. But I would like to hear his thoughts. I would like to kind of see, because there's people that, don't believe in curses, I guess. There's people that don't believe in curses. Feels like they might be over there. Doesn't it?
What can they, that's the thing. Like, we can hear from them, and I know Aaron even said, I think last week, everything we can talk about and say all the right things, but if we don't win, who cares? None of it truly matters, and it just, I don't know. It would not be a fun environment right now, I would imagine.
What was the stat that came out too? They're the second team in NFL history to hold a team to under 200 yards, have no turnovers, and still lose. The last team to do that was the Packers in the Hail Mary game in Seattle. So it's even when they seemingly play one of their cleanest games of the year, they still get beat by one of the worst teams in the NFL. It's at that point, it's oh shit, there's nothing we can do.
Here's an actual talking about your team. Your sorry ass team has put the Jets fans into a full spiral. Here's Mike Greenberg from this morning. Non-overreaction, he says.
The New York Jets of 2024 are one of the colossal failures in sports history. When we talk about the true failure teams, people always go back to the 2011 Philadelphia Eagles, who called themselves the Dream Team, who, by the way, finished 8-8. This team isn't going to finish anywhere near 8-8. This is a team that went as all in as any team ever has. And I can't say I thought it was the wrong thing to do. As it was happening, I thought it was the right thing to do. So I guess I'm as guilty of this as anybody else. But when you consider the future Hall of Fame quarterback and the trade they make for his longtime best friend and all these young players they have on the roster, and they fire the coach because it's going to make them better and it only makes them worse, and everything else, all the words that have been said, all the words that have been written, all the actions that have been taken, all the hype and all the belief that has existed, and what the actual results have been, the Jets of 2024 are one of the greatest, most colossal and embarrassing failures in sports history. And that sticks to all of them. So when people say, does this stick to Rodgers? Yes. It doesn't mean he's not an all-time great. It doesn't mean he's not a Hall of Famer. But it most certainly goes in the permanent record. It goes in the bio. The New York Jets turned over their entire franchise to him, and it got much, much worse. Embarrassingly worse. What they're doing is embarrassing to watch. I've been following this team 50 years. I've never been as embarrassed to say that I'm a fan or to say that I believed in them as I have been this season and yesterday in particular, with absolutely everything on the line against a team that, for all intents and purposes, is tanking and lost their quarterback in the second quarter. For the Jets to lose that game and look as uninspired as they did might genuinely be a new low for a franchise that has hit a lot of lows. So that is the legacy of this group, whatever happens from here. This is one of the colossal failures that we've ever seen in sports.
In sport, he says. I'm going to FaceTime him to hear if he feels any better now than he did this morning. But, man, I think he's echoing the sentiment of a lot of Jets fans, AJ. They have lost hope, brother. They're saying worst in the history of ball, brother.
Yeah, it's terrible when you lose hope. You always need to have some kind of hope, and I guess with the expectations, Greeny. You lose Greeny off the bandwagon, it's tough.
That's why the win meant so much for New England. Like, of course, 2-6 doesn't matter. But when you take the soul of the New York Jets fan base, it is the greatest feeling. And there was a meme, I forget who did it, but it was talking about how, like, Patriots' high or lowest expectations in the last 25 years, shaking the hand of the Jets, highest expectation in the last 25 years, both 2-6. And guess who's last in the division right now?
Who's that?
New York Football Jets.
Jeez, no answer from Greeny. That's probably why, if I had to guess. But that was, you could see he put some effort into that one.
Oh, yeah.